Hello and welcome to Low Carbs Mag, a look at the best blogs and websites around. Today I'm joined by Dr. Jody Stanislaw, who is, well, actually I'm going to jump straight over to her and I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you about what she does. Jody, it's great to have you on.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's an honor to be here. I am a naturopathic physician, which means I went to a 5-year medical school. However, we also had nutrition and herbal medicine and counseling and exercise. So we had the same level of science understanding as a regular medical school, but also included all these holistic therapies. It's a school based in Seattle, Washington, and there's only 4 actually in the US that give you a doctorate in naturopathic medicine. So we had a clinic, I worked with patients, we had all the same pathology classes, biochemistry, physics. I took everything from pediatrics to geriatrics to oncology to cardiology, the whole thing, 5 years. So you have a pre-med going in and then a 5-year medical school program. So it's really an honor to be a naturopath because what we provide, I just feel is so life-changing. And I myself was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 7. And that is what planted the seed for me to want to be a physician. I actually spent a week in a children's hospital and had fun because all the nurses and doctors were they just made it fun. You know, it was just fabulous. And so that was the week when I was 7 in 1980 that I said, I think I really want to be a doctor. So the next 20 years, I went to many doctors to manage my type 1 diabetes, and I just didn't think they seemed very happy, and I didn't really get a lot out of the visits that I had. So I was really confused in my 20s when I had spent my whole childhood thinking I was going to be a doctor, and then I just didn't want to be one of them. And then I found this holistic medical school, and I started med school when I was 30 and graduated when I was 35. And now the majority of my patients are actually type 1 diabetics, just like me. And I work virtually. So I have a virtual consulting practice where I do phone consults with patients all over the world. The majority of my patients are type 1, but I also take non-type 1s for anybody that really is just wanting a holistic look at their health.
Excellent. Super job. Now, obviously, today we want to talk a bit about how people can find out what you do online. So we're going to be concentrating very much on your website and some other things that you've written as well. And you have got a few articles out there. I've seen some of them.
Yes.
Who is it you have in mind when you're writing?
Patients with type 1 diabetes, primarily. However, because type 1, managing type 1, and I'm a holistic physician, my approach is that you really need to take care of your mental health. You need to eat well. You need to avoid sugar and processed foods. You need to sleep well. So although most of my client base is type 1, a lot of my articles are very approachable or are very applicable, I should say, to the public. I just recently wrote one on how to avoid spring allergies. I wrote one on my fabulous low-carb flax muffin for breakfast. It's a great breakfast idea. So a lot of my articles, it's not just how to manage type 1 diabetes. It's really how to have a healthy life.
That's excellent. So it's quite well balanced then across the whole gambit.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I work with patients, I explain to them that I will focus on whatever the main complaint is that they came to me with. However, I will always focus on what I call the 4 pillars. And the 4 pillars are the foundational areas in your life that allow a healthy foundation for wellness. And I name those as sleep, exercise, nutrition, and the emotional, spiritual, community, emotional health, all of that. So.
Excellent. So do you have, how can I put that? Do you have an ideal person that you can help more than others? I mean, you say it's mainly type 1 diabetes. Is there a certain subset of type 1 diabetes that you've really got to, how can I put that? You've got the button well pushed.
If anybody's struggling with type 1, I can help them. If they're struggling on what to eat, if they're struggling with what their blood sugar levels are, if they're struggling, they know what to do, but they're overwhelmed and depressed and anxious and can't deal with it. I wear many hats when I work with patients. And I can help them with the emotional side. I can help them with the nutritional side. I can help them with the blood sugar side. So anybody that's struggling with type 1, period.
Okay. You're there to help the struggling type 1 masses then.
Yeah. I mean, if you're happy and you eat healthy and your type 1's great, then, I mean, I think we'd have fun chatting. I don't know if I should charge you for that, but.
That sounds fair.
Yeah. But I also, anybody that, is wanting to improve their diet or, I was trained as a general practice naturopathic doctor. So I don't market that I work with the masses, but I still, I do free intro calls with patients. So there's a link on my website that you can sign up to have a free call with me. And then in that free call, we just kind of chat and find out if we're a good fit or not. And it's that easy, really. I mean, I really have taken advantage of this beautiful internet world that, I mean, you and I are talking and you're in England and I'm in Seattle. So it's just amazing. Yeah. It's so great.
Exactly. And it's just like we're, across the room. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
In fact, talking of technology, you've been on a TED Talk as well, haven't you?
Yes. My TEDx talk is called "Sugar is Not a Treat," and I'm very passionate about people cutting back on sugar because the masses are eating it. They're feeding it to children, and everybody thinks it's normal. And you go into these stores and I wouldn't touch 90% of the things, it's not food, the things that are in the store. Yeah. And so I worked with a TEDx coach to write my talk. And initially it was just going to be about type 1 diabetes. But then when I realized I was going to potentially have an audience of the world, I thought, no, I want to get my message to the world. So my message just is talking about that sugar is not a treat, period. And it's on YouTube. All you have to do is put Jody Stanislaw in a search bar in YouTube, and my TEDx talk will come up. And there's over 150,000 views already. So it's only been up for a few months. And at first, when it got 5,000 views, I was so excited. And then I stopped looking. And then I looked a few weeks ago and it was at 60,000. And now it's at 160,000. So it's kind of got that exponential growth going. Yep. Which is so exciting.
Excellent.
Because people want this message. People my talk is just simply like, hey, you guys, we can't eat so much sugar. And apparently everybody's loving that message. I mean, to me, I think it's funny because it's like, don't you already know that? But I guess not.
That's true. Now, you mentioned, let's go back to the blog a minute. You mentioned that, you've got all sorts of things on there. And one of the things you were talking about earlier was your famous recipe.
Oh, yes. Would you
like to sort of just tell us what that is?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So you just take a coffee mug and you put all the ingredients into a coffee mug. And the bulk of it is really ground flax seeds and an egg. If you put ground flax seeds with an egg together and then cook it, it will be a muffin. But there's more ingredients than that. There's a little baking powder to make it fluffy. There's a little stevia to give it some sweetness. There's cinnamon and vanilla to give it flavor. And there's a little bit of butter or coconut oil. And so it's basically 3 dry ingredients, the flax, the baking powder, and the cinnamon. And then 3 wet ingredients, the butter or coconut oil, the vanilla, and the egg. And then I put the stevia in. That is the base of the muffin. I have a little toaster oven because I prefer a toaster oven over a microwave. And I bake it. I bake it in the toaster oven for about 10 minutes at 450. And it is, I mean, so you can, it's very exciting just there. But the best part is you can make it blueberry banana. You can make it chocolate chip peanut butter. You can make it mocha. I mean, I put ground coffee grounds and then raw cacao, and it's my mocha muffin. I'll put a little 85% dark chocolate chips in there and some peanut butter. I'll put blueberries, little banana chunks. So everybody loves this muffin, except if you cook it too long, because it can become very dry. So you do not want a dry flaxseed muffin. The second thing is so much fiber that if you're not used to eating this much fiber, you might want to start with a half a muffin for a week, because it can go either way with the whole, what fiber does. So it can clog you up or the opposite. So you really want to definitely drink 8 ounces of water or hot tea or something when you have the muffin also, no matter what. So it's delicious. And I don't recommend microwaves, but if you're somebody into microwaves, you can literally put it in the microwave for a minute and it's done. But I do prefer a toaster oven.
Yep, you and me both. I don't like microwaves.
No, yeah.
Super job. So, I mean, we've told people about this, so we better tell them where they can find out about it. Now, I know a lot of your information is on your website. Can you give us your website URL?
Yes, my website is Dr. Jody, N as in naturopathic, D doctor. So it's DRJODYND.com. So I have information on my website. On my website, a big piece that we're promoting right now is my online course for anybody struggling with type 1. I now have an online course. I'm so excited about it because it's really the most comprehensive online training for how to have a healthy life with type 1 that's ever existed. And you also can find me on Medium. Medium is just kind of like a marketplace of blogs, and medium.com. And you just put my name, Jody Stanislaw, in the search bar, and all of my articles will come up.
Super job. Okay, we'll put the links for that below this video here.
Great.
Super job. And I guess you're on Facebook and Twitter as well?
Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest. Yes. I just hired, I've had a social media person helping me now, so I'm thrilled. Excellent. Because before, no, I would have been like, I don't have time. But now I do.
Excellent. So again, we'll put the links below the video.
Great.
Well, that's it. We're slowly crept to the end of our time. In fact, we've the end of our time pretty quick. It's been lovely chatting with you. We're bound to have you back again. It's been fascinating chatting with you.
Great.
Thanks again for taking time to chat with us.
Wonderful, Mark. Thanks so much.
It's been a pleasure.